There is a world that every human being will pass through without exception, a world no one has ever seen with their eyes, yet one that religious texts describe with unsettling precision, a world considered real in Islam, situated between earthly life and the final afterlife. This world is called Barzakh, and it begins at the exact moment when the body ceases to function, while consciousness does not fade. The word Barzakh literally means barrier, separation, an impassable interval. The Qur'an refers to it explicitly in the context of death and resurrection when it states, "Behind them is a Barzakh until the day they are resurrected." Qur'an, Surah 23, verse 100. Classical exegetes such as Ibn Kathir and Al-Qurtubi are unanimous. This verse does not describe a metaphor or a psychological state, but a real world, created by God, distinct from the material world and distinct from the final afterlife. According to authentic hadiths, entry into the Barzakh begins at the precise moment when the soul is separated from the body. The Prophet Muhammad describes this scene in detail in a hadith reported by Imam Ahmad. When the believer is at the point of death, angels descend to him, their faces radiant like the sun, and his soul emerges gently, like a drop of water slipping from a vessel. By contrast, for the unjust soul, the extraction is described as harsh and painful, emphasizing that the experience of the Barzakh already depends on one's earthly life. Once separated from the body, the soul does not enter an abstract void. Scholars describe the Barzakh as a real but non-material space where the physical laws we know no longer apply. There is no visible sky, no measurable ground, no calculable distance. Space is not structured by fixed directions. There is no north, no south, no up or down as we understand them. The soul perceives an environment without a horizon, as if space extends endlessly without ever reaching a limit. The light of the Barzakh is neither solar nor lunar. It does not originate from any identifiable source. It casts no shadow. Ibn al-Qayyim explains that this light is perceived directly by the soul, without any visual intermediary, and that it may be gentle, enveloping and soothing for some souls, or heavy, suffocating, and oppressive for others. This light does not warm and does not burn, but it reveals. It renders consciousness fully lucid. The Prophet said in an authentic hadith reported by At-Tirmidhi, "The grave is either a garden from the gardens of paradise, or a pit from the pits of hell." Scholars clarify that this statement does not describe the physical grave of earth, but the spiritual reality of the Barzakh. For some souls, space expands beyond all measure. They perceive a vast, calm, silent environment, resembling a luminous plain without boundaries. These souls sense the nearness of paradise, perceive its fragrances and serenity, yet do not enter it before the day of judgment. For other souls, the Barzakh becomes constricted. Space seems to contract. The atmosphere grows heavy, not through physical pressure, but through an overwhelming spiritual density. There is no visible fire, no flames, no physical punishments as imagined in hell, but a sharp, continuous, uninterrupted awareness of one's past actions. Scholars describe this as a punishment of perception, where the soul is confronted, without distraction, with the truth of its own life. Time in the Barzakh does not exist as it does on earth. The Qur'an reports that when the dead are questioned, they will say, "We remained for a day or part of a day." Qur'an, Surah 23, verse 113. Exegetes explain that centuries may pass without being perceived. There is no succession of days and no alternation of nights. The Barzakh is a world of motionless waiting, where duration is abolished while consciousness remains active. This concept of an intermediate world is not unique to Islam. In ancient Egypt, the Duat was described as an invisible realm traversed by the soul after death, a world without direct sunlight, structured by gates, transitional zones, and spaces of judgment. In Tibetan Buddhism, the Bardo is an intermediate state in which consciousness perceives intense lights and non-material forms before rebirth. In early Christianity, Limbo was conceived as a place of waiting without physical suffering but deprived of the vision of the divine. These cultures, separated by time and space, all describe the same principle: a real, invisible, transitory world in which the soul remains conscious. In Islam, the Barzakh is neither a final reward nor a definitive condemnation. It is a world of absolute truth, without illusion, without distraction, with no possible return to earthly life. A world where the soul waits, conscious, lucid, and motionless. until the moment when the invisible and visible worlds are reunited at the resurrection. And if this world truly exists, if every human being will one day enter it, then one question naturally arises. What do the worlds that come after the Barzakh look like? And are we truly ready to face them? If you would like a detailed video on the seven heavens, the gardens of paradise, or the levels of hell as they are described in religious texts, let me know in the comments. Your choice will guide the next exploration. If you want to continue discovering what humanity has never been able to observe, if you want to understand and visualize the invisible worlds described by religions and ancient civilizations, subscribe to this channel and like this video.